Miami is no longer just a race, it's a turning point. After a 5-week break, the Formula One Miami Grand Prix immediately delivered massive changes, new regulations, aggressive upgrade packages, and a competitive order that shifted dramatically overnight. Teams like Mclaren and Ferrari arrived with bold development strategies, while Mercedes, once dominant, has started to show signs of instability. This is no longer just about outright speed, it's about who can adapt the fastest in this new era of Formula One. Even more surprising, the cracks in dominance are beginning to show. George Russell appeared visibly frustrated, while Lando Norris delivered a sensational performance, pushing McLaren to an entirely new level. With extreme upgrades, wild aerodynamic innovations, and the possibility of rain on race day, everything feels like the beginning of a new wave of chaos this season. The big question now is this the rise of McLaren and Ferrari, or just a temporary illusion before Mercedes strikes back? Stay tuned until the end. You're about to discover some truly shocking facts. The Miami weekend has become one of the most crucial moments of the season, where the direction of the championship battle is starting to take shape. It's not just due to significant regulatory changes, but also because nearly every team arrived with major upgrade packages that had been in development for several rounds. The combination of these factors created a new dynamic that was immediately evident on track. From free practice sessions to sprint qualifying, the performance shifts between teams were striking. Some teams surged forward thanks to effective upgrades, while others struggled to find balance. One of the main highlights came from Ferrari, which introduced a total of 11 updates to their car. These upgrades covered multiple aerodynamic areas, including a redesigned front wing with significant changes to the end plate and footplate. The new design reflects an aggressive approach to managing airflow at the front of the car. In addition, Ferrari revised the floor, now featuring a more complex configuration with multi-layer elements aimed at improving airflow efficiency. However, Formula One performance is not determined by aerodynamics alone. Ferrari still faces several key challenges, particularly in optimizing tyre management and maintaining transmission consistency across varying track conditions. These issues became more apparent during critical phases, especially in the downshift process, which has yet to reach full stability. This situation even impacted Lewis Hamilton, who encountered problems at the final corner during a crucial session, a clear reminder that even the smallest technical details can have a significant effect on the final outcome. On the other hand, McLaren delivered an outstanding performance throughout the weekend. Their front-wing upgrade stood out as one of the most eye-catching technical developments, particularly due to its far more complex and aggressive end plate design compared to previous concepts on the grid. The geometric detailing highlights a serious effort to control airflow around the front wheels while maximizing downforce efficiency without significantly increasing drag. This change confirms that McLaren is not simply evolving incrementally, but is taking bold steps toward a more radical and innovative aerodynamic direction. The results were immediately visible on track. Lando Norris secured pole position with a remarkable margin, up to 0.6 of a second ahead of George Russell. Such a gap, especially in an era of tightly regulated performance, is a strong indicator that McLaren's current package is operating on a different level. This performance sends a clear message to the entire grid. McLaren is no longer just a top contender, but a genuine threat in the fight for this season's championship. Meanwhile, Red Bull Racing has not stood still in responding to the increasingly aggressive development race across the grid. The Milton Keynes-based team has introduced the latest iteration of its innovative rear-wing concept, often dubbed the Mclaren wing. Compared to Scuderia Ferrari's approach, Red Bull's design appears mechanically simpler, yet it stands out in terms of efficiency. They rely on a single actuator mechanism that pushes the flap backward in a linear motion, rather than using the complex rotational system implemented by Ferrari. This approach is considered more robust, carries a lower risk of failure, and is easier to integrate with the car's overall aerodynamic characteristics, potentially paving the way to become a new standard solution if it proves consistent across different track conditions. Interestingly, the wave of aerodynamic innovation doesn't stop there. Concepts like the semi-blown diffuser, initially introduced by Ferrari, are now being adopted by nearly every team on the grid, including Williams Racing, Alpine F1 team, and the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team. While each team interprets the concept differently, adapting it to their own design constraints, aerodynamic philosophies, and airflow characteristics. This trend highlights just how rapidly technological evolution spreads in Formula One. Within just a few races, a revolutionary idea can transform into a competitive standard that every team is forced to follow. From a regulatory standpoint, the FIA has also introduced a series of significant adjustments to the energy management system, including a reduction in the energy recharge limit during qualifying sessions. This change is not merely a technical revision, but part of a broader strategic effort to reshape how drivers approach their performance on track. With tighter energy limits, drivers are now required to maximize every moment of a lap, pushing the car to its limits without relying too heavily on conservative techniques like lift and coast, which have often reduced on-track intensity in the past. The primary goal is clear: increase aggression, reduce margins for error, and create more dynamic and unpredictable racing. Although the implementation still shows varying levels of effectiveness across different circuits, depending on track characteristics and energy demands, early indications suggest an improvement in entertainment value. Races are becoming more open, strategies more complex, and unexpected results from teams and drivers are occurring more frequently, adding to the overall appeal of the competition. In the sprint qualifying session, the results delivered a major surprise and reshaped expectations across the board. Mclaren looked dominant from the outset, with Lando Norris securing pole position through a near-perfect lap, maximising both the car's performance and track conditions. Behind him, Ferrari established itself as the closest challenger, followed by several top drivers, signalling an increasingly tight battle at the front. In contrast, Mercedes experienced a noticeable drop in performance. A team once synonymous with consistency now found itself settling for positions below expectations. This not only reflects how competitive the season has become, but also indicates a shifting balance of power on the grid, with rival teams closing gaps that once seemed untouchable. The drivers' reactions further illustrate this evolving dynamic. Max Verstappen acknowledged that Red Bull Racing has made significant progress, particularly in aerodynamic efficiency and high-speed stability. On the other hand, disappointment was evident from George Russell, who openly admitted that the results fell far short of the team's targets. His reaction highlights the internal pressure now building within Mercedes, reinforcing the urgency for them to find solutions if they hope to return to the front. So do you think Miami truly marks the beginning of a new era with McLaren and Ferrari as the dominant forces? Or is this just a temporary phase before Mercedes bounces back and takes control again? Share your thoughts in the comments below,